today we are going to start a new type of writing. Our writing today is descriptive narrative. So let's think, what do I mean by descriptive narrative? So I'm going to describe things, describe events, and narrate incidents. This is what I mean by descriptive narrative. So I have to ask myself, what about the register? Whether it is formal register or informal register. Yes, right? Of course, I'm narrating a story. I'm telling a story to my friend, so it is an informal writing, as it is a letter written to a friend. Okay, according to the exam, what are we going to describe and what are we going to narrate? Let's see. These are friendly letters. You're going to be asked to describe a celebration, a sports day, a festival, or a carnival, or a holiday to a friend. And as I said, it's a friendly register. So what do I mean by friendly register? I'm writing to a friend, so I have to avoid things and stick to things. What do I have to stick to? What I can feel free while writing? I can feel free using contractions. I can feel free using phrasal verbs, idioms. Excellent. It's a chatty style. I'm chatting with a friend and I'm telling him about an occasion, an event which he had missed. Very nice. What should I keep in mind while I am writing? I should create interest. I should personalize for the reader, support each idea, and not list. Okay, what do I mean by number one, which is create interest? Yes, to create interest means to contrast things. For example, if I'm describing a person, and this person, we know quite well that he is permanently on diet, for example, I'm going to say something opposite about him, that on that day he started eating and forgot about his diet. So I can say that Auntie Nana, for example, who is permanently on diet, started or tugged into the chocolate cake. So I know that she is on diet and she is doing something completely different and strange. By this I am creating interest. Okay, number two, personalize for the reader. What do I mean by personalize for the reader? Yes, it means that I should show the reader that I know my friend and we are in good terms together. We know each other. I know my friend very well. I know what my friend likes, what my friend dislikes. Number three, support each idea. Yes, I don't have to move from one idea to another without elaborating, without giving examples, without telling the reader why did I say this. So I have to ask myself all the time, why did I say this information? The last point which I should keep in mind is I do not list. Yes, when I'm describing, for example, people, I don't have to mention many people. I can mention only 2 or 3 and be selective. And of course, when I mention one person, I have to create interest about him. I have to personalize and support this character or this idea. Okay, so now let's start and see what about the plan. What are we going to do if we are writing a descriptive narrative? If we are asked to describe, for example, a party, a birthday party, which my friend had missed. Let's see how are we going to start the introduction. Okay, number one, I have to ask myself before I start, what type of introduction should I use? Is it an apology one? Am I Is it, am I telling my friend hot news and I'm going to tell it to somebody else? That's why I am in a hurry. Or I'm very fascinated by this party and I'm narrating to him all the incidents, all the things that I have seen, and so on. Of course, I'm very fascinated, I'm very happy, and I'm telling my friend all the details, so I'm not in a hurry. It's a standard introduction. Okay, number 2, I have my friend was not there. So, as he is my friend, I should know the reason of his absence. Why was he absent? Why did he miss this occasion? He might be sick, that's why he did not come. He might be busy studying. He might be doing something else. He might be on a trip. That's why he was not there. And I have to tell the reader that I know the reason for my friend's absence. Okay. Also, you should take care that if you're writing to a pen friend, the pen friend is somebody who lives in another country. So, of course, he's not in the party. But I wish he had been there. Okay, so let's see an example for the introduction. Here are 2 examples. It's a shame you missed the sports day last week. So it seems that it was a very nice sports day, and my friend, I'm very sorry for my friend that he missed this occasion. But I also know the reason why my friend missed it. He missed this opportunity because he was sick, and I hope he is feeling better right now. Let's move to the second example. What a pity he could not come to the party. So again, I feel sorry for my friend, but I'm glad he enjoyed his school trip. So I know again where was my friend and the reason of his absence. After finishing the introduction, I have to move to the body paragraphs. But how can I move? I need a transition sentence. What do I mean by transition sentence? It is a sentence between the body paragraph and the introduction, which helps me to go on, to proceed in my writing. And the best way to write to write the transition sentence is to use the past tense. Let's see how can we do it. Here are examples. I thought you might like to know what you missed. Or I can name also this event which he missed by saying, I thought you might like to know something about the party, about the sports day, about the sports show, whatever, and name the occasion which my friend had missed. Now let's move to the body paragraph. But before moving to the body paragraphs, I have to think what should I include in the body paragraph. Of course, it's an event, an occasion, and I cannot hold a party or a festival without people. So I have to think and draw the picture of the people who were there. But again, do I have to write all the people? Yes, excellent. I have to be selective to choose only 1 or 2 characters and do the same things, create interest about them, and so on. I should also think before writing the body paragraph, what about the atmosphere? What did we eat? What did we drink? What about the music played? And so on. I have to think about the weather. And I have to think whether it was an outdoor or an indoor activity. And I have also to mention incidents. Not all incidents, but also, as I said, weird, strange, funny incidents, and so on. This is what makes your writing different. So for the body paragraph, I have to think again about the people, the atmosphere, weather, individual incidents. Okay, after I made my plan and I decided what I'm going to write about, I have to move to the last paragraph, which is the conclusion. The conclusion is always a very short paragraph, 2 to 3 lines, not more, in which I return to the beginning. For example, I can tell my friend that now I have given you an insight about what happened. Now you know what you missed. Or as you see, hope you will be feeling better for Sarah's birthday party this week. Okay. For the body paragraph again, or what about the things which I have to bear in mind, as I said, to create interest, personalize, support, avoid listing. Don't forget, these are the main points in the plan. Okay, for the body paragraph, I have to think about the people and to create interest about them. How can I do it? How can I create interest? By talking about what? Yes, so be selective, of course, 2 to 3 guests only, and I can talk about somebody who's wearing strange clothes, somebody who behaves strangely, about the personality, about the character of somebody. This is how am I creating interest. Okay, of course the person which I chose should be known by me and my friend. Let's see an example. Okay, so I chose here in this example to talk only about Uncle Ken. Yes, very nice. And I developed my idea and talked about something interesting about him, which is started giving usual advice about what I should do at the university. And another thing, which he spent half an hour telling me the same old stories. So when I mentioned Uncle Ken, I mentioned what he did, and I created the interest. I talked about this person and I supported him. Let's have a look at the last 3 lines. And then he spent half an hour telling me the same old stories we have heard so many times. And what do we call this? Yes, it's personalizing. Telling the reader that I know very well, and I know that we have heard these things together. We have been through this before. I know my friend very well. Okay, so this is how am I going to create interest. Let's see another way for creating interest is by talking about the clothes of a person. Of course, I'm going to talk about something strange, something weird. If somebody is wearing normal clothes, why do I have to talk about him? So I can talk about a person who wore very tight clothes and he bulged out of them. They are very tight and he bulged out of them. So I'm drawing the picture as if my friend was there, and he can imagine now, and you can see the smile on his face when I say this to him. Or I can, for example, say that somebody who is wearing also loose, shapeless, and not armed. So again, I am drawing the picture of the people who are there. I can say these are examples and you are free to use any of them, and you can draw your own picture. I'm just giving you ideas to help you write. I can write about trousers that are too short, sleeves too long. Somebody, for example, who is wearing who has no sense of coordination. He wore clothes that do not, or color that do not go together. For one, green socks, and the other is orange, and a red tie. So if you imagine that person, he look like a clown, but he feels himself like that he is elegant. So I can create interest by being selective, choose one person, talk about him, describe, for example, his clothes, and describing something strange in his clothes. Is this the only method? No. I can also talk about strange habits about a person. Let's see how. I can talk about Auntie Nana, who has booming voice. Booming, very loud voice. And I'm going to develop what I said by saying, which can be heard anywhere in the room. And consequently, friends are trying to avoid private conversation with such a person, or with her, with Auntie Nana. But if I say, for example, that she was friendly, she was warming, she was, and without elaborating, without developing, without asking myself, why did I mention this? Your writing will be boring, without elaboration, with no interest or development. Another way, another example, you can, for example, talk about a person who thought himself to be amusing and started telling funny jokes, but everybody feel that he is boring. Or, for example, you can talk about grandpa who never enjoys himself in such occasions, and he fell asleep on the chair and he starts snoring. You can also talk about somebody who has poor eyesight and starts dropping things. So mom puts her glass and china ornaments in the cupboard whenever he comes. Or you can also talk about granny who likes wearing floral dresses, short skirt, because she likes to appear like a teenager. She'd never give the impression of a granny. Or you can talk about a person who is permanently on diet, but on that occasion she forgot about her diet and she helps herself to multiple slices of chocolate cake. So I mentioned different things they did. You can choose any of these ideas. You have your own ideas. You can write about them. Also, when I'm thinking about the body paragraph, I have to think about the atmosphere. And what do I mean by the atmosphere? The things that the music played, the smell of the food, the smell of the flowers, what you can see, and the taste of the food. Okay, let's see an example. Auntie Lena had made an enormous budget of delicious cakes. I'm talking about the cake. And with every slice I ate, I thought how much you have enjoyed it. So again, I did not forget the reader. He is always in my mind. And with every slice I ate, I remembered how he would have enjoyed it if he was there. There was loads of mouth-watering food. So again, I'm talking about the food, and I'm telling my friend that the food was mouth-watering, means delicious. And I'm developing the idea by saying that grandma had obviously spent the whole day in the kitchen. Let's see another example. Auntie Susan was happily tucking into the chocolate cake, slice by slice, forgetting about the diet she's supposed to be in. So again, I'm selective. I'm talking about Auntie Susan. I am creating interest about her and developing the idea. I'm not going to mention Auntie Susan and David. I'm saying that she is tucking into the chocolate cake, and I'm creating interest by telling that she forgot about the diet which she is supposed to be in. So this is unlike what we used to know about her. We used to know that she's always on diet. Also, when I'm writing, I can include individual incidents. As I said, I don't have to write about all the incidents that took place. I can mention one or two incidents. Here are some examples which you can choose from. For example, you can choose someone who spilled coffee on the white carpet, and you are going to think what happened, how your grandma felt when she saw the coffee on the white carpet. Someone who tripped while dancing and everybody started laughing about him. A precious vase was knocked off the shelf, and the screaming of your mother, of course, when she saw her vase broken. Or a child who pulled the tablecloth and everything fell down. So these are individual incidents which you can choose from. Let's see an example. Yes. So you were about to take a piece of gâteau, a piece of cake, when I accidentally knocked over a cup of coffee, and it took a moment for me to see that it splashed. This is the incident, that the coffee splashed down the back of Julia's white dress. And you can develop the idea by telling us about what Julia did on seeing the coffee on her dress. So of course you can continue by personalizing. So the coffee now fell on Julia's dress, so I can personalize, which means I will never forget the reader. So I can say, if you had been there, you would have burst out laughing on seeing the coffee on her dress. So this is what we call personalizing. Another example, it's a good thing you missed the party. So it seemed that the party was boring, and I'm telling my friend my opinion about it, and I'm personalizing by telling him how I feel for him. You would have been bored. Another example, it's a shame, pity, you couldn't make the party, you would have enjoyed it. Or you can make a wish. I wish you had seen the look on my grandma's when she saw, for example, the coffee on the white carpet. Okay, let's see now, what about the problems you always do when you write? I want you to have a minute and look at the paragraph you have and tell me what's wrong with the paragraph. Yes. You mentioned the time at 7 o'clock you arrived, and then at 7:05 the food arrived. At 7:30 again, what happened at the same time? I spilled coffee over Mary's white dress. She fainted, fell on the floor, and then she had to go to the hospital. This is what we call a dead sentence. I have to mention the time only if the time is important, and I don't have to mention the clock. I'm narrating a story, I'm not writing a report to my friend. So mention the time only if there's something important about the time. Instead, I can say what? I got to Aunt Mary's about an hour before the party started. I didn't mention the clock, but I said that it was before the party. And I also developed my idea, and I said why I went there before the party: to help her lay the bed. Let's have a look at the sentence. What do we call the sentence? We call it a dead sentence. A very important one. Instead, I can use, yes, excellent. Uncle Jim got there after me. So instead of mentioning the time, you can mention incident that took place before or after, of course. And we set up the stereo system as a surprise. It was a nice party. Of course, it is a very dead sentence. Okay, let's now think about if you are asked to write about a sports day that was held recently at your school. What am I going to write? As we said, we have to think before writing about the people there. Who are the people? If it is a sports day, who are the people? Parents, students, right? PE staff. Okay, what about the weather? It could be a nice day, it was a bad day, depends according to what you're going to say. And the atmosphere, whether there was music, there was competitions and so on. And of course you have to think about individual incident that took place. Of course, a sports day is an outdoor event, so begin.